Hi everyone. Today we're going to continue our videos on RVing Systems 101. We're going to talk about freshwater today. And this is important because there's a couple of different hookups on most trailers these days. If you have a very simple trailer, it's really easy. If you have something a little bit nicer, they're starting to use more of the standard features, then you may question, how do I hook up my trailer? This is also for those of you that are thinking about getting into the RVing lifestyle and you're not quite sure, how easy is it to hook up? Is it like we see in the movies? Can things really go wrong? And I'm going to tell you no, it's really, really straightforward, but not all dealers will tell you about these hookups when you buy a trailer, or maybe you're buying personally and you have to figure this out yourself. So I thought I'd take a few minutes and do a little video on freshwater systems and show you a few of the basics and just give you a quick explanation. So on most trailers, you're going to have a couple of hookups. There's two main hookups for your freshwater system. One is what we call our city water connection, and then one is our tank fill. Now, city water connection, they call it that because think of it as your house. You walk inside your unit, you turn on a faucet, and boom, you have water pressure. So city water is when you take a hose, and this is our food grade water hose, and connect it to the trailer. And we'll show you that in a moment. And then you're connecting it to a water spigot on the campsite. And that way you have pressurized water from the campground and the campsite, hence why they call it city water. So let's look at a couple of the connections that we have. This is our water bay. Now usually if you don't have a fifth wheel, there's a couple of trailers that'll put this in a water bay, but a number of them will just put these connections somewhere down the side of your trailer. It can be on the driver's side, sometimes it's at the back of the trailer, and there's even some times where it's on the camping side. Usually that's very rare because your hookups are on the driver's side, so they'll usually put this further back on the driver's side or on the back of the trailer. Fifth wheels are a little bit of an exception. They give a water bay, it's further up because we can have tanks in multiple areas because of larger tanks that are used. So in case it's not labeled, usually they are. This one is labeled city water connection, but in case it isn't, it's just a thread-on adapter. Usually it's black, sometimes it's white, and that all you're going to simply do is take the end of your hose, you're going to take it, put it here, and you're going to thread it on. Whoops, sorry, I'm blocking that. You're going to put it on, you're going to thread it on nice and tight, and you're connected. Make sure it's snug, don't over tighten it, because you don't want to have any leaks here. Then you're going to take your other end of your hose, right? And this is just traditional hoses. You're going to take it up to the spigot, the water spigot, where you're going to connect it. However, there's two things we're going to talk about. You should, whenever connecting to a campground or even at home, you want to use a water pressure regulator. This is going to keep water pressure running at proper pressure levels so that you don't damage any of your plumbing. Your plumbing inside your unit is very similar to household plumbing. It's PEX line connections, and they can expand with pressure, contract. However, what is different from your house is the actual connectors where you have T's or Y's where water's splitting. Those connectors are connected in the RV industry typically with a crimp fitting. So if you have too much pressure, your PEX line can expand, and it can expand that fitting. Where in your house, if you have too much pressure, you have a special PEX connection that actually has more give. In the RV industry, if you put too much pressure into your unit and that connection starts to expand because it's a crimp fitting and it starts to expand, Because of higher water pressure, when you let go of the water pressure, the line will contract, but your fitting won't. Next time you connect the water, you'll start getting a leak, and it'll get worse and worse and worse as you have more and more water leaking in your unit. So the recommendation to use this, some people I've seen will connect it here to their trailer. I recommend you don't. I like to take it, connect it to the end of my hose, and you're going to see this actually has a swivel point. I connect it to my hose, again, nice and tight, make sure your rubber grommets in there, and then I take this fitting, connect it to the water spigot, put it on nice and tight, and we're good to go. Just remember when you leave, because I have found a couple of campgrounds, I get there and someone's removed their hose but forgot that they had their water pressure regulator. So just remember to take that with you. And that way you're protecting your unit, keeping it nice and safe and ready to use. Now, if you have any kind of weight on your hose, maybe you are connecting an inline filter. Again, I like to put that more up to the spigot, but some people like to keep it closer to the trailer. You can use some accessories like this that, adjust the drop of the hose depending where the opening, you can't quite see it on this video, but we have an opening here that the hose feeds down through the floor of the trailer, and a lot of them you can close them back up and they just have a little opening for the hose itself. So that just gives you something to be aware of. Now, next to this connection, sometimes as you see here, and can happen on a travel trailer, there's another fitting that looks identically the same. And usually it'll have a sticker that says caution, do not use tank flush. Sometimes they'll have a sticker that says black tank flush. You don't want to connect your food grade water hose to this. The tank flush, if you're new, that is for flushing your black tank. We're going to talk about that in another video, but if you have two connections close, you've lost the stickers, maybe you bought a used unit, and you happen to connect to that. The minute you turn on the water, you're going to hear water running. When you hear that water running and you go in and you check to make sure all your faucets are closed, or your faucets are closed, you hear the water running, you know you've connected to the wrong one. So connect to your city water connection. Now, what we're also going to do is when we want to uncouple this, we're going to simply unthread it. And we're going to talk about our tank fill. Our tank fill, you'll see in this video, is right here. Usually it has a little cap on it, black or white, and has a little opening here. This is the second part of your water system. If you're going to be in a campground, there's no water on site. If you're planning to travel and you might be stopping in a truck stop, a Walmart, and you want to have water on board, you're going to use the tank in your RV. The tank will hold fresh water, and it's connected to a pump so that that pump will create pressure and give you water in your unit. To fill it is very simple. Open up your cap, you take your water hose, you can put it right in here. Now you're normally going to want to hold it depending on the pressure you have. This will then fill your tank. There's a little air outlet. You'll hear air escaping from the tank as you're filling it. If you listen carefully as you're filling, usually what will happen is as you get towards the top of your tank, you're going to hear air whistling out of this little opening quicker. It's going to change in pitch a little bit, and that's telling you you're getting closer to the tank because there's less volume of air coming out, and it's coming out quicker than it was before. You want to listen for that, because if you overfill this, typically water will spout out of here. Not a big deal, but it will. That just gives you a basic breakdown. When you're on your tank, you're going to go inside after it's filled and you need your water. You're now in the campground or out on the road. You're going to turn your water pump on and it will pressurize the water in your lines. You'll hear the tank run for a short spell until it pressurizes the system, then it turns itself off. And it's an on-demand system, meaning when you open a faucet and it needs pressure or pressure drops, the pump will come on. The systems, these pumps in RVs, are good for pumping, typically 3.5 gallons of water per minute, which is a lot of water, a lot of pressure, more than enough for what you need. Anyways, that's our quick video on freshwater and the basic hookup and couple of accessories that you're going to want to need. If you have more questions, if you're new to RVing or thinking about getting into RVing and you'd like us to cover a specific information in a video, mark it in the comments below. Let us know what you think of this video. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you like the video, please click the like button and also subscribe to our videos. If you hit the bell, you'll be notified of new videos as they become available. Anyways, Bruno from RVing TV. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you back soon at the channel. Make sure you live life to the fullest every day.